Today we will be talking about language games. It's a subject that I want to cover now because my later videos are going to be building upon it. So I'm going to give you a basis of what it is, and hopefully that'll lead me to build in later videos. The concept of language games was created by Ludwig Wittgenstein, an Austrian philosopher. Before World War I, he was part of a school that aimed to base all human knowledge off of logic. And this was during an era of scientific positivism, when we believed that reaching out with knowledge and science, we could eventually solve all of the world's problems. Wittgenstein's early work was designed to create a logical basis for language, because if he could do that, he could build knowledge upon a logical language basis. There are so many assumptions in language and contradictory meanings that there had to be a way to address them and eliminate them. Wittgenstein brought up this example in his early works. He is a man, but not a man. We understand this in context, but logically it makes absolutely no sense. You can't have a thing that has a property but also doesn't have that property at the same time. So he wanted to eliminate these. By the end of his early work, the Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus, after he had done all this work making this logical basis, he said, "This is futile, it can't be done, we need to move on from this idea of logic as a basis, and instead look at language and our definitions, and how our definitions define our reality." To illustrate the idea of language games, I want you to look at this picture. It's clearly a picture of a rabbit, right? Or maybe you see it as a picture of a duck. Both of these interpretations are fine, and they're both accurate, but they vastly change how we interpret the picture, even though the picture itself hasn't changed. And this is what Wittgenstein wanted to illustrate in his later work, how our preconceptions and our definitions influence our world and influence what we see. So, he put together this method of analyzing stimuli and interactions and getting to their core meaning and getting to our preconceptions and getting to analyze those, because if we can't analyze those elements, we can't really understand what we mean when we communicate. As you can see, there are no definitive answers when it comes to language games, but that doesn't mean they're useless. What they do is lead us to further investigation and further research, and greater understanding of where our definitions come from. And this can be applied very broadly to societal concerns such as marriage, love, duty, religion, civil rights, human rights. And it lets us understand where someone's coming from and where we inherit our ideas from. Usually this is from our society, and say, well, what do I really mean when I say love, for example? And it helps us unpack and discover more about ourselves and our society. So let's go back to that statement, he is a man, but not a man. Of course, this is logically impossible, but when we use language games, we can get very different meanings out of just this simple statement. We can use it to investigate what it means to be a man, physically, socially, politically, evolutionary-wise, and we can get very different meanings out of it, and we can learn more about ourselves and our culture based upon those meanings. So I want you to use that as an exercise. Thanks again for tuning in to Lunch Brain. This is Marshall Edwards. If you liked, please leave a like, and if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe, and comment below if you want to discuss this topic, or other videos I've done, or talk about videos that you would like to see. Thank you very much.